most important thing about a drum solo is communication. Playing a drum solo is just like public speaking. All the same rules apply. So the same things will annoy you, the same things will impress you. So when you're playing a solo, it's important that you put yourself in the shoes of the listener, right? You want them to enjoy what you're saying. You want them to engage. You don't want them sitting there saying, oh my gosh, I wish this dude would shut up. So while you're in the process of learning how to solo, there are a few things that you can keep in mind, some things that you can get inside your head now that you can include in your solos that'll ensure that they sound awesome. So that's what this video is all about. I'm going to give you 7 different things in no particular order that you can do and keep in mind to make your solo sound awesome. Now, I just want to mention before I go on, if you're digging this t-shirt, you can support this channel by picking one up. I got an online shop full of cool t-shirts made for drummers. Every shirt in the shop was designed by myself with these 2 hands in my upstairs office. Hit that link in the description box that'll take you right over to the store. Take a browse. I got a bunch of shirts in there. I guarantee you we'll have drummers walking up to you saying, dude, where'd you get that shirt? Now, let's get to it. Grab yourself a pad and a pen. Write these down. All right, so these are in no particular order, but I'm going to start with number 1, which is establish a tempo. Now, I don't mean count yourself off every time you start playing. I'm just saying establish a tempo in your head before you go and launch into your solo. There's 2 important reasons for this. Number 1, it lays down a little bit of framework and gives you somewhere to go. And number 2, it gives the audience something to connect with. So before you start playing, like it only takes a second, just establish a tempo in your head, slow, medium, fast, whatever. And then you got a little bit of a bed that you can ride on for a little bit. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to commit to this tempo for the entire solo, right? Like if you want to switch it up halfway through it, you can do that. If you want to start with a slower tempo and then halfway through you want to kick into something a little bit faster, that's fine, right? It's just like driving on a highway. You can go from 40 miles an hour to 60. There's nothing wrong with that. Another thing that you can add to your solo to help it sound awesome, structure. Structure helps you organize your thoughts while you're playing. So what I mean by structure is basically you're going to chop your solo up into segments. So you can do 4 bars, 8 bars, 2 bars, whatever you want to do. Now this is a subject we're going to touch on later on. But structure is definitely a cool tool to help you just sort of organize your ideas before you play them. And it also stops you from just rambling on about nothing. So this is just a mental thing that you can do. It's just thinking in either 4-bar or 8-bar phrases or however you want to chop it up. Doing that kind of thing just helps you to not speak in one giant run-on sentence. Another thing you can do to help your solo sound awesome is to make sure that you're taking advantage of the full range of dynamics. That means from 10 to 1 the entire time. So this applies to the drums themselves, right? And by that, I mean you have the full range of frequencies on your kit, from your biggest floor tom to your smallest splash. You can add a lot of sort of dimension and just depth to your solo when you use the entire range. So as far as orchestration goes, you want to do that, man. You want to use the lower frequencies, you want to use the higher frequencies, and just make them nice and musical. So that's the first way. The second way, of course, is how you play everything. So You know, you want to go from delicate to intense. You know what I mean? Like all of that stuff adds tension, which is also a really sort of valuable and important tool in solos. Again, like when you parallel that to public speaking, right? You don't want to see somebody get up there at the podium and start yelling at you for 15 minutes. So using the full range of dynamics will engage people a lot more. It'll cause them, especially when you start to play softer, it'll cause them to sort of lean forward and want to hear what you want to say. If you really want a good example of this point, after you finish watching this video, type in the search bar, Papa Joe Jones. Just watch any one of his solos and check out how he engages the audience. It's unbelievable what this guy does. A fourth thing to keep in mind during your solos, space. So many drummers out there completely forget about the use of space. Your solo does not have to be one continuous rant from start to finish. It's okay to present an idea and then breathe, and then present another idea and then breathe. You know what I'm saying? That's how we talk anyways in real life. It's okay to stop and take a breath between sentences, man. Nobody's gonna get up and walk out on your solo. Now this doesn't, of course, mean that you need to leave big gaps between your phrases and stuff. But you know, it's okay to step back for a couple of beats, maybe, and just think about what you're gonna say next. The fifth thing that's pretty much critical for making your solo sound awesome, articulation, right? So when we go back to 2018, the year of the hands, that's what that whole thing was about, man. So this completely ties into technique. The better your hands are developed, the clearer that you're going to be able to speak, especially in faster tempos. Again, going back to the whole public speaking thing, right? You don't want to get up on a mic and start mumbling your words and jumbling everything together and talking so fast that nobody can understand you. It's okay to talk fast if you're clear. The sixth way that you can make your solo sound awesome, rhythmic movement. So this means, first of all, making sure that you're using the whole alphabet, right? In the last video, I think it was the last video I mentioned it, but anyways, in a previous video, I talked about how there's basically two different main types of movement, at least the way I see it. So there's straight, right, which is all the multiples of 4, so quarter notes, eighth notes, 16ths, and 32nds. That's all very straight. Like it's all just multiples of 4. But then there's the triplets, right? The triplet movement kind of breaks things up and creates this kind of thing instead of just a straight line. So you want to make sure that you're using all of that stuff available to you. But you also want to get into learning how to bend and stretch and pull and push and manipulate time. For those of you out there that love to solo over like Latin grooves and stuff like that, this is super important, man. Like being able to sort of bend the time a little bit is important to make that type of thing feel good. Learning about note groupings is also a very cool thing. There's a ton of stuff that you can do with 3s, 5s, 7s, 9s, whatever. These are all elements that you could add to your solo to give it tons of texture and make it sound really interesting. And the seventh thing, or at least the thing I'm going to end with today, that can help you make your solo sound awesome, great sounding drums. Now notice I didn't say great drums or expensive drums. I said great sounding drums. So all that means, man, is making sure that your kit sounds great. Just learn how to tune it. Learn how to get the sounds you want to get out of your drums. Tuning is not hard, and I have 3 really cool tuning tutorials to prove it. So if you're struggling with tuning your kit and getting it to sound great, if you haven't seen my tuning tutorials yet, make sure you check the playlist. I can promise you, 100%, you'll have your kit sounding awesome in like 20 minutes. But great sounding drums inspires you to hit them. I love playing this kit because I love how it sounds, especially when I have the ears in. I can throw a few effects on there. It sounds like I'm sitting on a stadium stage. You just play your drums differently when they sound great. And then the other thing is invest in some really great sounding cymbals. When you have cymbals that sort of sing and shimmer and crash and, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, when you're surrounded by cymbals that sound really nice, you're just going to want to hit them in all kinds of different ways. This kind of thing, of course, helps you to get creative, and it just causes you to think differently while you're soloing. Because I know for me, man, I want people to hear what I'm hearing when I play this thing. So yeah, just learn how to tune your drums, man. You don't need expensive drums. Just learn how to tune them and get them to sound good. So there you go, man. These are things that you can keep in mind. There are obviously more than this, but I think these are the 7 common threads that I see in every solo that I love from all of my favorite drummers. And they're also ones that I always try to stay conscious of whenever I approach playing a solo in front of an audience. Another important thing, of course, is to read your audience, right? I mean, if you're playing in front of a bunch of Berklee students, of course, you can pull out all your chops and fireworks and all that stuff. But if you're playing in front of an audience of just casual people out to enjoy a night of music, they're not going to care about all of that flashy stuff, right? You want to communicate to your audience. So there you go, man. It's a lot of stuff that you can keep in mind for this entire year while we're all learning how to improve on our soloing. Hopefully that helps. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you share it if you dig it. Hit that notification bell so you know when the next lesson's coming out. Like, subscribe. Drop a comment below if you got one. See you next video.